Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. In this video we're going to look at Blair Warren's book, The One Sentence Persuasion Course, and ask, is it the most effective persuasion framework ever? So let's get straight into it. The book is only about 40 pages long, and it can be summed up as Blair himself sums it up in 2 words: validate and fascinate. Essentially he's saying we don't persuade anyone with the opposite approach of correct and convince. These overarching principles focus our attention on the other person and their needs. Underlying this is Blair's 27-word sentence, which he believes sums up the essence of persuasion. I'm going to read that to you now. People will do anything for those who encourage their dreams, justify their failures, allay their fears, confirm their suspicions, and help them throw rocks at their enemies. And in my view, this framework for persuasion is extremely powerful. In my job, I spend a lot of time negotiating deals, and through a lot of trial and error, I can tell you that trying to convince and correct just doesn't persuade people. Most of the time in negotiations, it comes down to the relative power of the parties. When you do manage to convince someone of what you want them to do, it comes at a price. You then have to give up something of your own. That isn't the ideal way, obviously. So using these ideas of persuasion is a useful way into any negotiation or any discussion where you've got to persuade someone of something. Pointing to someone else causing the problem and proposing a solution to it, or identifying a consequence that will cause a problem, are much more effective ways to get movement on an issue. And remember, as Blair points out, there's nothing in this sentence about you. It's all about the other person. People rarely resist someone trying to see their needs. And I've seen this personally in negotiations where we've gone in with a very focused approach of identifying the needs that the customer is trying to meet, the needs they are fearful they won't get met, allaying their concerns on those points, and then finding that actually it's relatively easy to get what we would like in relation to that. So for example, I did that in a negotiation on intellectual property where the customer was very clear they really wanted to own intellectual property, and they had some very fair reasons for that. Ownership is not something that we would ever give up, and so we had to find a way of dealing with their real worries, real fears, whilst maintaining ownership ourselves. And we did that by not trying to persuade them that we needed to own it, but going in and focusing on the things that they were worried about, dealing with those, and then the discussion about ownership was very easy after that. So I always try and use this framework when I start to go into a negotiation to see if I can use it as the first approach to that negotiation. It's the multi-tool of persuasion, if you like, the go-to strategy to start with. And the book gives some great examples of how to use the framework. In fact, the book itself is a use of the framework, so you can see it in action. And the question I want to leave you with is really, how will you use this framework yourself? How will you take it to achieve more of what you want, and what influence will you exert over others by using it? If you want to watch more from me, then please click here where my latest video will be, and please feel free to subscribe and like if you like this video. See you on the next one.